Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. For those that are new to the channel, welcome in. For those that have been subscribed to the channel recently, I appreciate all of your support on this channel as well as even on the main channel as well. Today we are going to be talking about something pretty big, and yes, by the title of this video, if you do hold XRP, you guys need to know about ZBCN, and it's for multiple reasons. Obviously, XRP has done very well in the market over the years, but one thing that everyone remembers about XRP is that 2017-2018 bull run. Almost nobody was positioned in XRP during this time on the chart. Most people started to buy XRP while we were already at 20 plus cents. And, you know, during this time, it was a historical bull run. I mean, XRP literally did over 66,000% of a run up from the lows of a fraction of a penny to, you know, over $3 plus. Now, I'm not saying that Zebec is about to do that. I'm just saying that Zebec right now reminds me of one of those diamonds in the space. Because although, yeah, we're already well over like a $300+ million market cap, and no, I'm not saying that market cap holds anything down or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, during those initial days with XRP, I mean, XRP had still roughly about a $250 million market cap, and then it ran to like 80, 90 billion plus, even over $100+ billion in market cap. I'm not saying that Zebec can't do that. I'm just saying that, you know, this is what the market cap we are at right now. So it's a slightly higher market cap than what XRP was during that time. But regardless of that, I still think that Zebec can have that crazy run up, maybe not $3 plus this cycle, but who knows, right? Like, depending on how crazy things get, Zebec could become the XRP of this cycle. And no, I'm not comparing the two. I'm not saying that Zebec is a better buy than XRP right now or anything like that. I'm just saying that, you know, XRP is already at over an $80+ billion market cap. If you hold XRP, maybe adding some ZBCN to the portfolio as well would not be a bad idea, especially concerned about, you know, how undervalued this project actually is, how overlooked it is. I mean, we're at number 116 on the market cap rankings, which I feel is criminal for just how bullish Zebec actually is. But taking a quick look at a few things, let's look into number one, where we are at right now chart-wise, because in the previous video, and for those that actually did not go and check out that video, you guys should definitely go and check out the Zebec breakdown on the channel. I basically broke down pretty much everything regarding Zebec. That was about roughly over a week ago. It was 8 days ago, and that's a full deep dive. It's about 17 minutes long or so, but definitely go check that out, because in that video I was basically talking about where we could see Zebec going next. Now on the chart, I'm still expecting this like mid-range level being retested. It's the lows going all the way back to June of 2025. There's definitely a lot of demand here. There's a lot of support here as well. We don't need to go that low, but pretty much anywhere within this like red zone, and we could technically make this a little bit brighter just so that you guys can see it. Just kind of looking into this blue zone here is what I'm looking at with ZBCN potentially retesting, depending on how Bitcoin looks going into next week. Because if we do have a much larger pullback on Bitcoin, because it did just hit resistance, then we could see this blue zone being tapped in. But again, if we're looking at, like, you know, ZBCN being the XRP of this cycle, depending on how high this thing goes, I mean, we can go to 5 cents, 10 cents, potentially even like 50+ cents. A lot of people said, like, there's no way, there's absolutely no way. But also those same people said that Dogecoin wasn't going to 70 cents in 2021. This space is a crazy space. Hype, demand, speculation, even utility, all those things. You mix all of them into one thing, and the upside potential is unpredictable. ZBCN has been building for well over 4+ years now. They've been a dominant name already in the game for what they've been trying to accomplish. And, you know, they've already made a massive amount of success doing what they do best, which is, you know, really pushing forward, building true utility, tapping in with some of the biggest names in the space. And if they just continue that, then I don't think that ZBCN is going to have a problem at all breaking out into a much larger area on the top 100 list. And what I mean by that is, if we're really looking at ZBCN today, and if we're really looking at the top rankings, I'm looking at like that top 30 level for ZBCN, because even HBAR, right? Like HBAR is at number 26, almost a $4 billion market cap. So that's an easy 10x from where we are at right now, because we would be at like 3.25 billion, and that's roughly a 3 cent, ZBCN, which would be pretty great to see. But let's just be honest here. I do think that that's just a starting point, especially in, a 2021 like bull run, where altcoins are going absolutely crazy. So ZBCN definitely has a ton of price point potential in front of it. Also, don't forget that looking at the markets here, ZBCN also has a ton of listing power, meaning it could be listed on Binance, Coinbase, all of those top tier exchanges, and any one of those major exchange listings could immediately affect the value of ZBCN as well. Now, looking at a few things, let's take a quick look at what makes ZBCN so special, especially from an XRP point of view. This is the Circle network, and if you guys do know, Circle is a dominant name in stablecoins. We could see Zebec network is a part of the directory because Zebec did join the Circle Alliance program a while back, and even back in April, we do see here Circle has been working with us since day one as both an infrastructure provider and an early backer. USDC has been at the core of Zebec's ecosystem from the beginning, powering real-world payments across payroll, card spending, and even cross-border transfers. Now, yes, they are tapped in with Circle. We could see the use cases here, real-time payroll, and even WageLink. Some of these great use cases that people kind of overlook because they're just looking at like the biggest thing, like, oh, are we targeting cross-border payments? Are we targeting Forex on chain and things like that? Some of these use cases are solid use cases that could drive significant demand for these underlying networks. And that's basically all we are trying to see. We're trying to see mass adoption of these networks where the end user really doesn't realize what they're using. They just see how efficient it really is. And that's what Zebec is trying to do through its DPIN service, or ZPIN they call it, where, it is tapped into everyday lives through specific things, like, for example, payroll and even wage links. And you can kind of read exactly what they're doing here. So they're eliminating the headaches of pay runs for employers who are able to pause, cancel, or even adjust payment streams at any time through real-time payroll. Then, of course, we do have the WageLink, so the first modern compliant payroll app with an advanced blockchain backend. WageLink introduces Web3 features like near zero cost cross-border payments and even payroll. So this is awesome. And of course, yes, this is tapped in with Circle. So, USDC can be tapped in here. Also, you could even see URS as well being tapped in. So they're Euro stablecoin. You have a ton of blockchain supported here as well. Stellar is one of them. And you can see just like the platforms, the regions, and the countries tapped in. So the US, the UK, the regions, APAC, Europe, Latin, Middle East and Africa, and even North America. So pretty cool. And I think that these use cases are awesome for mass adoption. But then we also have Nacha. So for those that actually don't know about Nacha, they govern the thriving ACH network, the payment system that drives safe, smart, and fast direct deposits and direct payments with the capability to reach all US bank and credit union accounts. Now, the craziest thing about this is the fact that there were 35.2 billion ACH network payments made in 2025, valued at $93 trillion. And Nacha governs this ACH network. This is wild. But what does this have to do with Zebec? Well, Zebec actually became one of the key Web3 companies in the Payments Innovation Alliance launched by Nacha Online. And if we're looking into the 20 new Payments Innovation Alliance members in this breakdown, we could see all of the names here. So Bank Social is one. We already know about Bank Social with Hedera. Circle's on here. There's a lot of great names. FIS Global, which if you guys do know about FIS Global, they are a major leader in payments. You have banks on here. And then, of course, at the bottom, you do have Zebec Network. And we are thrilled to welcome our newest Payments Innovation Alliance members whose expertise and commitment strengthen the entire payments community. This is from Nacha. The Alliance brings together leaders who are shaping where payments go next through collaboration, education, and meaningful discussions. We look forward to the impact these new members will bring in 2026 and beyond. And yeah, Nacha is a massive player in the ACH network side, and the Payments Innovation Alliance serves as Nacha's leading membership and engagement program, bringing together experts from financial services, technology, fintech, government, businesses, and nonprofit organizations to address emerging trends and challenges across the ACH network and broader payments landscape. Alliance members gain a seat at the table in key industry discussions, access to collaborative work groups, and direct engagement with leaders across the payments ecosystem. And at the end of the day, like, we know that payments are undergoing a massive change. We know that basically the financial system itself is changing. We know that digital payments, DLT, blockchain, stablecoins, they're all going to become a bigger piece of the traditional system. The US is ready to tap in. And if we're thinking about what Nacha is trying to do here, they are advancing innovation and interoperability in the payment system by tapping in with some of these players. And if we're looking at some of these players, yeah, Zebec is one of them. And Nacha is governing the massive $93 trillion ACH network, which is just wild. And if we're thinking about Zebec with payments and payments innovation, yeah, there's definitely a possibility where we start to see some of that capital moving over these networks. Now, is it going to happen overnight? Probably not, but it's still definitely very exciting to see. So this is definitely awesome. But also, I do just want to mention that inside the Payments Innovation Alliance membership, pretty much any big player could become a member if they do pay to have like a seat at the table. Like if you wanted to really kind of become a member, it's $2,500 to $8,500 depending on your organization size, and then also $1,500 as an observer member. So yeah, they could definitely purchase a membership into this. We have Nacha direct membership as well, which is like $41,050. So did Zebec purchase this, and did all of those other members purchase this? Maybe. It doesn't really matter though, because again, like, we're still watching the evolution happen, and the ACH side of things is definitely going to change in a big way. So Nacha tapping in with Zebec, and Zebec working with Nacha on this alongside those other 19 members. It's still an incredible insight. And especially at the same exact time that, like, Nacha has a crazy amount of players tied back to them, including major banks, fintech companies, and so many other players. So this is definitely cool. Now, on top of that, why do XRP holders need to pay attention to Zebec? Well, let's go into that. So over here we have compliance first, institution focused, 4 acquisitions in 4 years. Here's Simon on what's driving Zebec's next chapter ahead of our debut at XRP Las Vegas this week. Check this out.
There's a lot in common, I think, between our two projects. We've learned a lot from Ripple and XRP's journey. I'd say one example is, of course, being very compliance forward and maybe thinking about compliance very early in our growth stage. Of course, if you want to work with big institutions, you need to have regulatory alignment. You need to have compliance over your payments. So we learned that from Ripple. And of course, we have a similar institutional focus. So this is where a lot of the growth is coming from right now in crypto, right? It's from institutions, it's from corporates. And if you look at Ripple's growth trajectory, they've made acquisitions in corporate treasury, other institutional product suites. And of course, Zebec has followed in their footsteps with our own M&A strategy. 4 acquisitions in 4 years, which have brought us both corporate clients and a larger global footprint. So we're very flattered at the comparison, but I think one of the key points of difference is we're 4 years into our journey, while Ripple is 14 years into its journey. So we're excited to see what the next 10 years bring. We have huge respect for Ripple and XRP, and we're going to be participating for the very first time this year in XRP Las Vegas. So we'll be there with Uphold as well.
So yeah, I mean, Zebec is definitely on a great path here. Obviously they're not trying to, compete. They're trying to just kind of work with them, which is also why we have over here, big shout out to Chartner TA for this huge. Ripple payments and Zebec are integrating to power end-to-end stablecoin settlements with ROUSD, letting corporates fund in fiat, while Zebec handles payroll distribution across wallets, cards, and eventually bank accounts. So this is basically a major partnership with ROUSD, with Ripple. And this kind of, takes me back to the Stellar partnership. So it makes a lot of sense on why they would want to work with Ripple on this as well, because they're already partnered up with Stellar, Circle, all of the big players. And, why not just tap into ROUSD, which is like one of the most compliant and regulated stablecoins in the game. This is awesome to see, and I can't wait for the official announcement from Ripple, because I'm sure that there's going to be another announcement along with this, but check it out.
I mean, one of the big ones is, how do you get corporates comfortable with holding stablecoins? Well, that's the beauty of the partnership with Ripple, is that we plug directly into Ripple payments that allows corporates to still keep their balance sheet in US dollars or fiat currency, But through their APIs, we can convert that into RLUSD, and then Zebec handles the entire stablecoin flow, from the funding of payroll to the distribution to the employee receiving it in their wallet, a MasterCard, or eventually their bank account.
Okay, so you have a
I mean, one.
So that's awesome to hear. And of course, yes, ZBCN being the, overall gas token here, or the utility token within the network, yeah, that demand, if we do see it reach significant numbers, could definitely affect the underlying token value in a very positive way. I think that all of these, all the networking that, Simon and the team at Zebec are really kind of putting in, all of these collaborations will pay off long term. And yeah, they're 4 years into the game. Imagine what 10 years will look like from now. Obviously, I do think that, Zebec is one of those killer projects in the space that people need to pay attention to. Especially if you are into utility-based projects, you are really kind of looking at this space in a long-term view. We know that institutional adoption is heating up. We know that crypto is becoming a more mature asset class in and of itself, and adoption is only going to continue to heat up around stablecoin payments, around institutional players tapping in, and also even integrations with some of these networks. So I think that ZBCN is definitely one of those projects that people need to keep an eye on, especially if you do hold XRP, because it's kind of mixing in with the same sort of crowd in terms of utility. We also have some exposure to Zebec from the ROUSD connection. And yeah, I mean, if you think about XRP, where XRP is right now in the space, ZBCN, I would say like a fair valuation for ZBCN would be in like the top 30 at least, because of what they're doing, how they're doing things, how they're moving as well. They're moving pretty quick, but definitely watch for, a nice discount. I feel like we might get another major discount within the altcoin market here soon. But beyond that, yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys definitely like, subscribe, turn notifications on, because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow us on X, as well as join the free Discord down in the description below. And with that being said, guys, Nick, thanks for watching. Peace out, guys.